We have plans to build 4 pickleball courts, a fitness park, a children's soccer field, and some playground equipment, along with a gazebo, just a place for people to gather and watch some events. And it's going to be actually connected to the Bob East Trail. So easy access, there'll be a new parking lot. It's something that all generations will be able to use. We have a plan. We've got some major donors lined up. Now it's time to go out into the community and go ask, because we got to ask for money. People like to usually give when they know for every dollar they give, there's another dollar that's being matched. So we're very confident, optimistic that in the next 3 to 4 months we can raise a large amount of money.
All right, there we go. Okay, so Rich.
Yes.
Today we're talking about Rotary Club. We're talking about a specific project that we're doing with Rotary Club. First, how long have you been in Rotary?
That's a good question. I'm guessing I joined probably 25 years ago. My dad was a longtime Hillsdale Rotary Club member, and I didn't do it when I first came back to Hillsdale, but because I went to a couple meetings, and like a lot of things when you're younger, it's like, man, it's a bunch of old people. So then I decided, okay, well, let me give it a couple years, and then I joined, and at that time we were getting some younger blood in there, so it was a lot of fun. And I remember growing up, all the different things that my dad did with myself and my siblings. It was a big part of his life, and it's been a big part of my life.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that was my experience when I joined Rotary. I was like, oh, it's a lot of old people. But I feel like I spend a lot of time on the college campus, and when students look at me, that I'm old to them. So it's all a matter of perspective, I think.
It is, and then you get engaged with it, and I can't believe I've been a member for that long, and obviously I've taken a lot of leadership roles within the club, and it's crazy how time flies. And now, I look around and there's, it's turning over again a little bit. So there's some young blood in there, but Hillsdale Rotary has been part of Hillsdale County now for 105 years. So it's cool to be a part of an organization that's made a difference, and the members are in it for service, and that's what we do.
Hillsdale Rotary has done a lot of interesting things, and I feel like when I'm not from Hillsdale, so when I moved here in 2020, I immediately saw things that I liked, and people would say, oh, well, Rotary did that. So for example, like the bike path, and there's the park over by the lake. My kids love that thing over by what's Sandy Beach?
Rotary Park at Sandy Beach. Yes,
Yep.
that was my project. I was in charge of that, and it was over a decade long to raise the funds and to spearhead that. And the club was phenomenal. The community was, raised over $400,000 over a 10-year period. That was a lot of money, especially during the early 2000s, or the 2000, 9, 10, 11, 12, during that recession, especially here in Michigan. But we accomplished the mission, and we completed it just before 2020.
So it seems like Rotary, at least Rotary in Hillsdale, we have a tendency to want to support projects that have to do with physical activity, being outdoors, especially because in Michigan we have limited months where we can go out and enjoy being outside. Is that typical, do you think, for other Rotary clubs to support projects like that, or is that something unique to Hillsdale Rotary?
I think Hillsdale's really unique with that. I think a lot of clubs do a lot with international. Obviously, Rotary's responsible for the polio vaccine, and really that's been a big global project. And we help out with that, but I think our club has had a lot of success getting a lot of people to buy in with what we can do with our natural resources here in Hillsdale County. And you take that bike trail that Dan Moore spearheaded. Dan was a longtime Rotarian and engineer, and he kind of started that project before the Trails to Rails really got popular, because he did that before I joined the club. So that was, in the late 90s. And he was ahead of the time. And to convert the old railroad beds into what, probably a 4 to 6 mile stretch, I'm guessing. I forget the exact,
Hmm.
miles that are on that with the different spurs here in Hillsdale city limits. Um, but that was a testament to him to really have the forethought to do that, to get all the easements rights. That's a lot of work. It's like a lot of things. It takes a lot more than what people realize to do these projects.
It is easy to take it for granted because you just go out and you're on the trail or you're playing on the playground and you don't realize the amount of time and energy and the cost. And then
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think, well, it's my taxpayer money. And a lot of times with Rotary projects, it's not. This is
Yeah.
countless hours of volunteer work and fundraising and a lot that goes in behind the scenes to make something available to the local community that otherwise wouldn't be available.
Yeah. I mean, the city of Hillsdale doesn't have a large, budget for their recreation department. They just don't.
Mhm.
But what we do have is um, some very generous people, and I mean, especially like at Sandy Beach, where half of Bob East Lake, it cannot be developed because that land was given to the city under the condition they could not develop that. So the city turned it into a phenomenal park. So homes will never be built on half that lake. And what a great idea for someone to do back in the day. And I'm drawing a blank on their name right now, but that was back, you know, what, 70, 80 years ago. Um, but the city didn't have the money to develop or to improve the park. So we decided as a club, hey, this is a great natural resource. Let's go and come up with a plan. So we hired an engineer. We designed it, and then we did it over a 10-year period to redo you know, the building, to add a new beach, to add new playground equipment, to add a basketball court, just to improve it. And the community loves it, just like they love the Bobby's Trail, which is a part of the North Country Trail, which I think is one of the second longest trail system here in the United States,
Mm.
and it goes through Hillsdale County. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to love the new project that we're working on, and you're one of the leaders for this project. Can you talk a little bit? Let's talk some logistics. Where is this new, what are we building and where is
Yeah.
it going?
So we've been kind of talking about this for a while, but it finally happened where the owner has donated the land right behind the stock mill, right behind the DCA plant, the former plant. And so it's, I forget, probably about 4 to 5 acres. It's on a floodplain, so it can't really be developed. So it's a great place for a park. So we're going to be, we have plans to build 4 pickleball courts, a fitness park, a children's soccer field, and some playground equipment, along with a gazebo, just a place for people to gather and watch some events. Um, and it's going to be, and it's actually connected to the Bob East Trail, so easy access. There'll be a new parking lot. It's something that all generations will be able to use. And pickleball is a very popular sport right now, um, and I think it's going to generate a lot of interest, and hopefully we can generate a lot of funds to support it.
How did that piece of land become available?
Um, Someone from our club, I believe it was Heather Stuchel, um, she knew of the piece of land. We had discussed it as a group. It's like, well, this would be a great place to put in a new park because we knew it couldn't be developed much for anything else. Um, so we approached the owner, and and that was something I didn't do. It was some other members of our club,
Hmm.
and he said, yeah, I'll just give it to the city. Um, the Rotary Club didn't want to own it. We just want to develop it. So the city is now the owners of of this piece of property, and then we will develop it and hand it over to the city once this project's completed. Just like we did at Sandy Beach, the city owned that, they maintain it, they take care of it. We aren't in the business of doing that. We just want to develop it, turn it over, and let the city take care of it.
All in, what do you think this is going to cost?
Um, it will be done in phases. I'm guessing this first phase will be well over $350,000. The following phases with the fitness park, the playground equipment, I'm guessing probably easily another 300,000, which people say, what?
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. But just like the equipment we bought out at Sandy Beach, which is now a decade old, that stuff will last a long time. It is obviously commercial grade. It's good. It's we are looking at game time equipment. That's what we have out at Sandy Beach. Game time used to be locally owned back in the 60s and 70s. I think now they're based out of Carolina, but great company. It's been around forever, and they make very good quality equipment. So it will last for generations. The pickleball court, we're going to do our homework on that and make sure we use the proper concrete. We'll use good equipment for that, and build it so it will last for generations.
Yeah, that plot of land right now, uh, it's a bit of an eyesore. Not that it's ugly, but it's just like you said, it's not being used. It's just sitting there, and it is in such a cool location because you're right next to the park there, but you have
Mhm,
the path, and
mhm,
it's pretty close to downtown. It's pretty close to the college. There's a lot of residential area around there.
mhm.
It's kind of almost in this really neat central location where there's a lot of different groups can have access to it pretty easily. And it's going to have a wide variety of options once you get there. So it's not like, oh, I don't want to do something specific. It's, well, you're going to have a lot of different things to pick once you get there.
Yeah, it's a highly visible piece of property. Um, and when you go down Bacon or you come into town, you will see that.
Hmm.
And I think people are gonna stop and use it. And it seems like wherever you go now, whenever you see a pickleball court, they are normally filled up. So a lot of players out there.
What I love about Hillsdale, about the downtown, and again, this is coming from someone who didn't grow up here, even in the short period of time where I've been in Michigan, the downtown's constantly improving. It's getting
Mhm,
prettier, there's more businesses, it's getting more walkable. There's more reasons to go downtown and more reasons to stay downtown. And this isn't right downtown, but it is not far away. It's a short walk. You could go get some coffee and some donuts on a Saturday
that's a great
morning
idea.
and then stroll over there and, yeah, yeah, at your donut shop. But you could enjoy the downtown and then very quickly be at this park and be back in the downtown. It's almost like extending the size of the walkable area and the walkable space in Hillsdale.
Correct. And there is a lot of good things happening to our downtown. I think it's only going to get better, and I think the next decade, people won't even recognize it. And I think in the next 5 years, people are going to say, "Wow, this is impressive." And you just you draw a circle 3 miles from downtown, and there's a lot of development going on. And I don't think people maybe have grasped that yet. The millions of dollars from you know, 5, 6 projects, and it's only going to be more of them. So I'm excited for the growth that's going to happen here, with the hotel opening up, with some new restaurants opening up. There's a lot of people that walk around Mrs. Stocks Park, which our park is right across the street from that.
Hmm.
And so people just walking around, and even if they don't play pickleball, they can see people spending time down there. We're going to try to clean up some of the St. Joe River down there, maybe putting a new bridge. That's that St. Joe River starts, a half a mile from this park, and ends up in Lake Michigan. There's people that have taken a kayak from Hillsdale to Lake Michigan. That's a pretty cool adventure. I
It
haven't done
is.
that, but I know people that have done that, and so again, there's a lot of cool things in Hillsdale County.
Well, when this opportunity came up, what got Hillsdale Rotary so excited about it?
I think we were just ready for the next project. We spent a decade with the Bobby's Trail, a decade with Sandy Beach. We spent the last couple of years raising funds with maybe not knowing exactly what we were going to do, but at the end of the day, we knew we would invest in some new adventure. So then, after some consideration, the club kind of said, "All right, let's really start looking with the possibility of adding this new park." And we talked to the city of Hillsdale and got their blessing, obviously. And we said, all right, well, let's start putting a plan together. We got the land. So now we're at the point where, okay, we have a plan. We've got some major donors lined up. Now it's time to go out into the community and go ask, because we got to ask for money because the city just doesn't have it in their budget. So we got to go out and raise for this first phase, you know, um, probably 150 to $200,000. But the good thing is that we have 100,000 with a matching grant. So that's a great start. And people like to usually give when they know for every dollar they give, there's another dollar that's being matched. So we're very confident, optimistic that in the next 3 to 4 months we can raise a large amount of money.
What do you think is if someone in the community right now is thinking, oh, this might be something I want to donate money towards and help support, what do you think the long-term effects of building something like this? What have been the long-term effects, do you think, the positive effects on the community for the bike trail and the beach project? And
Yeah,
how do you think this is going to affect the community long term?
well, that's a great question. And I think people nowadays, they just love to do things outside. I think, being active, be it walking, be it running, be it biking, just being outdoors. There's something that it just does to all of us, right? And um, so having another activity to choose from, where the community can gather and enjoy competition, can enjoy, just a scenic walk along the St. Joe River, um, you know, just just being with other people. That I think is what really excites people, and we're just glad to be a part of that. And like I said, I think the community will really support this, and I'm sure in a year from now we're gonna once this is done, people are gonna say, "Wow, this is impressive. Let's go with that next phase. Let's keep this thing going." Because that's what we've always done with those other projects. We've just started it, and then we took some more time off to raise some more funds and went to the next phase.
I've seen the plans and I've seen I've seen the corner where that's going, and I anyone who hasn't seen what this is going to look like or doesn't have an idea of what we're talking about, I wish we could just show everybody, because right now that land, it's there's nothing impressive about it. You probably drive by it, don't even think about that corner.
Hmm.
But even though I know what it conceptually is going to look like, I'm so excited to see the final product, because I think it'll be hard to look back and then think, well, what did that look like before? I just can't even imagine how it's going to change that part of town. Because right
Yeah,
now, when you drive through, you just kind of see the old mill. There's just there just really isn't anything there as a fence.
yeah,
It's a piece of property you would drive by and never think twice
yeah.
about it. And I think that's going to shift 180 degrees, where it's going to catch everyone's eye, and it's going to be one of those pieces downtown with everybody. is proud of. Because that's the unfortunate thing about the thing at like Sandy Beach. Unless you're out there, you're never going to see it.
Yeah.
You know, this
No.
is going to be right there where everyone's going to be able to see it, whether they're a local or not. If you're driving through Hillsdale, you will notice this park.
Yeah. And I would just encourage your viewers to check out hillsdalerotary.org. That's a Rotary website. And if you go to that, you can see right away what this park is going to be about. And then we also have a great video that we put together 5 years ago to celebrate our 100 years in Rotary here in
Mhm.
Hillsdale. And it's about a 6 minute video that talks about the Bobby's Trail and it talks about Sandy Beach and what we did. So it tells a little history. And and then we also have some photos, some old photos. And then we also have a way for them to find out about this project. There's a link that takes them to the foundation, community foundation website. So if they do want to make a donation, they can access that right from hillsdalerotary.org and help us get there.
Now, if they donate through the website, does that go into that grant where it gets met with the from?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we haven't officially started the campaign yet, but but that link is working. So it's just it works now. So we have had this partnership with the Hillsdale County Community Foundation. So we already have an account set up for Rotary projects, and that's what this next project will entail. So people are very used to making a donation to the foundation, and there's some tax benefits with that. And obviously, the foundation has a lot of tools that they have. So if people want to give some stock, some retirement accounts, that's what they do. Our club doesn't want to get involved with those type of logistics, so we hand
Hmm.
it over to the community foundation because that's what they do, and so people can feel very confident that they can give the money right to the community foundation, and then in return we have access to that for this fundraiser.
Okay. Well, I will link the website in the description of this. So if anyone's listening to this or watching this, find the description from wherever you are, and you can find the link, or you can contact me, and I can give you the information. I
Hmm.
think as a healthcare provider in the area, I think this is a step in the right direction. I don't think there's anyone out there, regardless of your political affiliation, that's going to think that healthcare in this country is as good as it could be. I think we can all
Hmm.
agree that, there's some things that need to change. And we can wait for the government to change those things, and we can wait for policies, or we can start to change things in our own lives. And I feel like
Correct.
for a lot of people, if you ask them, hey, do you think that routine physical activity and exercise is healthy? They're going to say yes. I mean, imagine if you went out and found 1,000 people, you'd probably get 1,000 yeses. But out of those 1,000 people, how many of them are meeting physical activity guidelines? Statistically, that number is going to be pretty low.
Yeah.
So I think we all recognize, and it's common knowledge, that routine physical activity is essential for health, yet most of us don't do that. And when I ask people, and we try and get to the bottom of this, because I have to try and help people overcome these barriers, there are some real barriers in the way, and one of them is access to equipment, access to safe, fun outdoor areas, access to just a general access and time. I think that tends to be a big thing. If you've got to drive a long distance to go somewhere. So I feel like when we add these types of things where you have a bike trail, you have playgrounds, you have pickleball courts and outdoor fitness equipment, it doesn't necessarily get rid of barriers, but it gives people options, because a lot of times those barriers can't be removed. Time is always
Hmm.
going to be short. Things are always going to be hectic. But if you have more options and more opportunity, and things are a little bit more fun, and you mentioned community, well, it starts to make some of these barriers seem less like it's not as hard to get around them, or they don't seem like they're going to prevent you. It's just kind of a nuisance. And I think the more and more that we can add things like this to the community, ideally the more physical activity will be available, more people will be physically active, and we'll start to see improvements in health. And for some people listening, that might not be a big deal. I work out all the time anyway. What do I care? Well, I think we all live in a community like Hillsdale, especially because we care about the other people around us, and we care about the community, and we care about the burden on our hospital. And, in general, we want to live in a healthy, happy place. And if you're adding more social spaces, you're taking old land that's not being used, that's just sitting there, and you're making it beautiful, and you're making it usable and functional, and making these positive changes. I think we can all get excited about what that means for the local community, especially in an area that's so close to downtown. And I think that's maybe one of the things when I moved here. I had made a comment to my wife about it. The downtown on weekends sometimes is pretty dead. There's
Hmm.
nobody around doing anything. And when you go to other places, it's not that way. People are out walking around. And I don't know that, I've lived here for a while now, that it's because people don't want to walk around and don't want to be active. They just, if they don't feel like there's anything worthwhile to do,
Hmm.
why would you do that? Why would you even go there? So they're probably being active somewhere else. But I just think a vibrant downtown is so much fun. And if you've got great parks, good restaurants, good coffee, a good atmosphere, we've got a great farmer's market. I think there's a lot going on downtown right now that, City Hall was recently, they did all that renovation on it. It looks great. And I don't know, there's so many positive things. And I just see this park as almost kind of like, I don't know. It's something that's going to be amazing. And I just don't think a lot of people even realize that this project is going on because we haven't broken ground. So I think it's helpful to get this information out, because there's probably a lot of people, maybe they'll be listening to this, or they'll hear about this at some point, and they'll think, well, I would donate to that. And I would hate for this to go by and people to say, well, I didn't even know that was going on. Otherwise I would have gotten involved. So
Right.
I'm hoping that this reaches a lot more people, so that, if they want to make those donations, or they want to get involved, they want to support in some way, that they at least know that this is happening.
Correct. And I appreciate you reaching out to me and just so I can you know, let your viewers find out and hear more about it. One thing that I was really astonished by is when the Ball Beach Trail was completed, I had no idea at first, you know, that trail from Bernard Street all the way to Sandy Beach, which is 3 miles, you know, total, that is plowed during the wintertime. And there's a lot of people that walk that trail year round. And how cool is that? People don't, a lot of people may not even realize that, but you can walk that trail. The city does plow it. And a lot of people still need to get outside. And when it's 15 degrees out or 35, hopefully it's not that windy when you are walking near the shores of Paw Beach, because that wind is wicked.
Yeah.
I used to run that when I was younger, when I used to do the 5Ks or 10Ks, not 10Ks, I guess 5Ks, but you know, that wind is nasty. And but it's nice to be able to use that. I always tell my my kids or my wife about, um, motion's lotion, and you always have to be moving. You do. Sitting around, it's not good for anyone. And as long as you're able, get out there and get uncomfortable, and if it takes weeks or months for it to become habit forming, but Exercise is very important to all of us, and hopefully this park can just get more people interested in just being outside.
I think so. I think there's a general desire, and just adding more things like this is just going to see more and more people. It's almost like people don't necessarily need convincing; they just need more opportunities.
Hmm.
And I don't know. It's exciting. It's a big project. It's going to take some time. It's going to obviously take some money. So if you're listening to
It
this,
will.
yeah, if you're listening to this and you're even remotely interested, reach out. You can reach out to me. I can put you in touch with whoever you need to talk to at Rotary. I'll link in the description the Hillsdale Rotary website, so people can donate directly off the website if they want to, or they can see the pictures and learn more. If you think you know someone who might be interested in supporting this project, please let them know. Pass on this information. And the more I think the more money we get and the quicker we get it, it seems like the faster this is going to move along, and then the quicker we'll all have access to.
Without a doubt. It
Yeah.
just takes money.
That's it. Just a little money.
Yeah.
All right, Rich. Do you have anything else you wanna add?
No, again, thank you for reaching out. This is fun, and we'll definitely just see where it takes us. But we're gonna go out and hit this hard starting in about 3 weeks, really. But we're gonna start now, and we got to go out and raise those funds.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to come on today. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Yep.